everyone, welcome to another video of Eduception. In this video, we solve ICSE 2019 HCG paper 1, that is the history and civics paper. We will be solving section A of part 2. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up button, the subscribe button and do share it to the friends. So let's start. Question number 3. The parliament is the body of people's representatives who have supreme power in a democracy. With reference to the union legislature, answer the following. Number A. How are the members of the Rajya Sabha elected? The representatives of states in the Rajya Sabha are elected by the elected members of the Legislative Assembly of each state. Number B. Why is it called a permanent house? The answer is, it is called a permanent house because it cannot be dissolved by the President of India. C. State any two financial and any two legislative powers of the Indian Parliament. The two legislative powers are A. Matters in state list and number 2. Ordinance. So matters in the state list. The Parliament can legislate even on subjects included in the state list during the proclamation of an emergency, right? An ordinance. The President may promulgate an ordinance at a time when the Parliament is not in session. An ordinance must be laid down before the House for their approval. The two financial powers are number A. The budget, B. Supplementary grant. The budget. The Parliament passes the Union Budget, which contains the estimate of receipts and expenditure of the Government of India in respect of a financial year. The budget is represented in two parts, namely the Railway Budget and the General Budget. Part B. Supplementary grant. If the amount authorized for the current financial year is found to be insufficient, the government may make a fresh demand known as the supplementary grant. Question number 4. The Council of Ministers headed by the Prime Minister is the most powerful institution in the Indian polity. In this context, answer the following. A. State briefly the position of the Prime Minister in the parliamentary system of government. State in two powers the Prime Minister has as a leader of the nation. So, the Prime Minister is the keystone of the cabinet arc. He forms the cabinet and is the source of link between the President and the Council of Ministers. We have to state its two powers. So, its two powers are A. He directs and coordinates policy. The Prime Minister coordinates the working of various departments in foreign defense, economic and technological affairs. He plays a special role in coordinating the policy of the Union. Part B. Prime Minister represents India at international conferences. Now there take place conferences of the heads of Commonwealth, head of non-aligned nations and SAARC and BRICS nation. So our Prime Minister represents our country. The leader meets to discuss matters such as trade, the world economy, state-sponsored terrorism and world peace, etc. B. Distinguish between the Council of Ministers and the Cabinet. So the differences are A. The Council of Ministers consists of all categories of ministers, the Cabinet Minister, Ministry of State and Deputy Minister. Whereas the Cabinet on the other hand is a smaller group consisting of some 25 senior ministers, right? So all Cabinet Ministers are ministers but all ministers are not Cabinet Ministers. Part B is in the day-to-day working of the government, the Council of Ministers as a whole rarely meets. The Cabinet, on the other hand, is a small, cohesive group of senior ministers who meet as frequently as possible. Part C. Write any four functions of the Cabinet. So, the four functions can be stated as Part A. Formulating the policy of the government. The Cabinet formulates external and domestic policies of the government. It takes decisions on all major problems such as defense and security needs, energy requirements, economic reforms, pollution control, improving relations with superpowers as well as neighboring countries, formation of new states and sending troops to troubled spots, etc. Part B. Administrative function. The Cabinet is essentially a policy framing body. When it has determined on a policy, the appropriate minister has to take actions on it. Part C. Coordination in the functioning of various ministers. Normally, several departments are involved in the formulation and implementation of a policy, be it India's missile program or the implementation of Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee, etc. The Cabinet acts as the coordinator between various departments. And Part D. Financial functions. The Cabinet is responsible for whole of the expenditure revenues to meet it. A money bill can be introduced in the Lok Sabha only by a minister. Question number 5. India has a single integrated judicial system that is independent and supreme. With reference to the judiciary, answer the following. Part A, number 1. Who appoints the judges of the High Court? So, the judges of the High Court are appointed by the President. Number 2. State any 2 qualifications required for a person to be appointed as a High Court judge. So, the 2 qualifications required are, number 1, he should be a citizen of India, and number 2, he should have been an advocate at a High Court for at least 10 years. Part B. Explain briefly the term court of record with reference to the High Court. So, the High Court is a court of record. The court of record has 2 characteristics. First, the judgments and orders are preserved as a record. These can be produced in any court as precedents. The law laid down by the High Court is binding on all subordinate courts and administrative tribunals in the state. But it does not bind the other high courts, although it is of great significance and can be produced in support of an argument. Secondly, if a person commits a contempt of High Court, the court has the authority to punish him. Neither the Supreme Court nor the Parliament can deprive the High Court of this right. Part C. List any 4 writs that the High Court can issue for the enforcement of fundamental rights. So the 4 writs are writ of habeas corpus, writ of mandamus, writ of prohibition, and writ of quo warranto. The writ of habeas corpus provides a remedy for a person who has been unlawfully held in prison or in police custody. This writ may also be issued when a person has been detained by a private individual. Whereas the writ of mandamus compels an inferior court or an individual to perform their legal duty. A writ of prohibition is a writ directing a subordinate to stop doing something the law prohibits. This writ is often issued by a superior court to the lower court, asking it not to proceed with the case which does not fall under its jurisdiction. Quo warranto. This writ is issued to inquire about the legality of a person holding position in public office. So guys, with the end of section A, we end this video over here. Section B will be uploaded soon. Till then, stay tuned.